the one and only sexy mama, LaDonna Raeh.
LaDonna Raeh. And welcome to the I haven't said my name in so long, I can't even say it. Welcome to the LaDonna Raeh Show. I'm so happy that you guys are tuning in. If you are, no matter where you are, I really do appreciate you tuning in. The LaDonna Raeh Show is when I talk to content creators all over the world. And those people are usually artists, actors, individuals, notable individuals. The list goes a little bit long. But today I'm on, if you check out one WVON 1690 in Chicago, I'm on the afternoon show with Atiba Buchanan. And we talk about issues as they come up. It's like breaking news. So before I get to our topic today, you probably already know what it is, because anytime you see Mayor Brandon Johnson, Chicago, so many people killed over the weekend, you think of Chicago or Chirac, which I never claimed Chirac. I don't like that title. I like my city. And it's not because I don't know anything other than, but I do know how to navigate this city, and I do know its true culture. But one thing that what has been brought to my attention is this viral video that everyone's talking about. Enough people are talking about it, where these kids, this mob of children, are attacking an adult woman who appears to be pregnant.
Shamar!
I don't know if you can see that.
Come here! What you want, Shamar? Shamar, foot. What you want, Shamar? Shamar, look at that. Come on!
All right, so I don't know if you can see that because I didn't see it on my screen, but I was sharing it with you. And the reason why I was sharing it is because, okay, you probably already saw it, but there's a group of, I'm guessing, I did not count when I had the opportunity, about 7 or 8 teenagers or preteens. A woman is walking with her son. I'm going to see if I can put this video in here. Let's see if I add it. I see it, but I don't see it. Hold on. Yeah, it's not showing up. Maybe here. Add to scene. Yeah, it's not showing up. So there's a possibility that the file size is too large. Anyway, she's walking with her son and maybe her daughter. Her son looks like he's in about 2nd, 3rd grade. And she's walking and protecting him, trying to, and I'm summarizing this. And then one of the girls, after they're cornered into a fence, starts hitting the woman. Now, let me back up. I am a mother of 4 sons. 2 of my sons are adults. 2 of them are still home with me. I have transferred my sons to several schools because of bullying. And never in my wildest dreams did I ever imagine that I would be afraid of the bully that was bullying my kid. It never crossed my mind that they would have the nerve, the courage, or the wherewithal to put their hands on me. And so my approach has always been, if my son comes to me and tells me that he's being bullied, the first thing I want to do is I want to hear the story. Tell me what's going on. How long has this been going on? Okay, where does this happen? Where are the teachers when this is happening? Where are you when this is happening? I'm documenting. Then I contact the school, not next week, unless it's a Friday, but the next day. And I request a meeting with the school and the parents of said students, if he has the students' names. Because sometimes these kids, they don't even know the names of the kids. They go to the school, they don't know who they are. And after doing that, it it's a hit or miss because when I go to the school the next day, the administration is either unavailable, I have to have an appointment. They're on lockdown. Or I have to literally plead with them to let me talk to the principal or the dean. After talking to the principal or the dean, I am now in a position where I have my son and my notes, and I'm going through everything that has possibly happened. They're taking down their notes, and I'm asking them when can I get a meeting with these kids' parents? Because what you cannot do is have a meeting with the kids. So I want to meet with their parents. I want their parents to know what they're doing, what they're allegedly doing. I say allegedly because an investigation and all of that stuff. But I want the school to be I want these kids to be, I need the school to be notified that these kids are doing or acting or creating such havoc for my son or sons. My son has been chased home by bullies, beat up by bullies. Things have been taken from him. And the first thing that we say is, where are the parents? On both sides. Now, I'm one of those active parents. Something like that happens to my kid, I have to engage, but I have to engage in a way where it doesn't get me locked up. I have to engage in a way where it's a good outcome for my kid. Because if I'm locked up, now I have a record and I got what? It was unnecessary and the bullying doesn't stop. So according to these codes of conduct, sorry, my mom's, I'm dog sitting my mother's dog. And for some reason, she was asleep the whole time. And now she's shaking and scratching and all that stuff. I guess because she doesn't like all these lights. But with that being said, I don't think, I forgot where I left off, but let me just continue on this path. I want to get to the point where, what does the parent of the bullied person do, the victim do, right? You have to document everything, and you have to calm down, because the first thing you want to do, even especially if you're old school, you want to harm who has harmed your children, and you want to harm who has not protected your children. But that doesn't work. I'm here to tell you, like my mother, I grew up with a mother that would go up to the school and snatch a kid or the teacher or me. Those parents are gone. Parents cannot snatch anybody. You're just standing there like. So now let's go back to the code of conduct or the book or the I forgot what it's called, but it used to be called the code of conduct. And in the code of conduct, it has been loosely mentioned that bullying is a zero tolerance offense. Loosely mentioned, because when you do go to the school, no matter if it's a public school or a private school, I found out because I transferred my son to a private school, it was still an issue and they still had their hands tied. So I'm here not to put people on blast, but if the shoe fits, well, you're going to be put on blast. Number one, document everything. Actually, before that, become a trusted adult. If you're not a trusted adult, your child has to trust that you're a safe space to land. If you're yelling at them for being bullied or telling them if you don't kick their butt, I'm going to kick yours, I don't think that's going to work very well. It used to work back in the day because I followed it. Okay. I didn't get into a lot of fights, but I was ready. I was certainly ready to get into fights because I didn't want that smoke from my mother. So with that being said, those things that worked back in the day, they don't work anymore. And I want us to consider that. Once you go to the school, they're locked down. You can't even get in there. You know why? Because parents like whose have gone up to the school and been violent. They have disrupted the day. They have made, this is where we're at. Okay. So now we have to work around it. And in working around it, we have to find hold on one second. I'm going to let this dog outside. Hold on. You want to go out? He's like, I'm trying to talk to you. You're not listening. I guess, was I bullying the dog? I didn't mean to. So because of this, we have to navigate differently. Use your email. Send an email, copy several people, the dean, the assistant principal, and the principal. When you do that, be very clear. Leave your emotions out of it. Keep the facts in the email. This happened on this day, approximately this time, approximately this moment. Where were the adults? Use words like, I want my son or daughter to be safe, okay, while in your care. You have to use that terminology. All right. Now, once you connect with the school, which I did, I've connected with the school, and Lord have mercy. What happens next is very vague. If you don't follow up, they won't follow through. And sometimes they will, but they are managing several hundred children, students with so many different backgrounds, so much trauma, so many things going on in every student, as well as having to be academically focused on these students. There's the social emotional that has been kind of pulled from under them because of COVID. Even up to COVID, it was not that great. But after COVID, that's a 2-year lapse or gap that our children were not given that social emotional development that was necessary for them to have, or to should I say, to develop empathy, compassion, right? Discipline. All of those things kind of got like, all right, back to school. And you expect these social media gremlins to come back and just be good with everybody. Now, what their social emotional has turned into is whatever's on social media. And social media targets, I'm telling you, the algorithms target our young Black boys and girls, especially mean girls. If you're not a mean girl, you're going to turn into one if you're not strong enough. Because they, and by they, I mean these students, are looking for likes and views. Now, I'm not a psychologist. I don't have to say all that. You know I'm not. But I am a mother, a parent, and I see the evolution of destruction happening right under my nose. No matter what school I go to, I put my son into a Christian academy in South Holland, and he was being bullied by the mother and the son and possibly the father. Because when you go to private school, you have a tuition payment, okay? The private school, actually, that's where their funding comes from, tuition. So I felt like, well, you know what? They're probably going to be, the climate of this school is going to be more cohesive for my son's growth and development, because there's no nonsense going on here, right? You know, especially with the book and the marketing and all of those things. And I looked at their code of conduct, and oh no, we love our children. They high five them on the first day, at least the first day I was there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what my sons needed. Oh, I was so excited. Yeah, high school. Because I think high school should be like High School Musical. I really do. But it doesn't turn out that way. And because of that, I dropped my son off daily because there's no bus. I dropped him off daily, paid my tuition, and I felt like I had done the right thing. Well, my son started getting bullied from an individual that was what we call protected status. Protected status, the school was majority Black, so that wasn't it. Wasn't color. It was a good mixture of boys and girls, so it wasn't gender, but it was definitely sexual orientation. And so when my son had called himself having a girlfriend, okay, girl he really liked her. She was good, a good person that, you know, that he had chosen to be with. And he had calmed down quite a bit because he was so, you know, wired all the time. But at school, he loved it. He would get up before I did. And then this one person that I believe and still believe had, I'm going to say, crush on my son, was a boy, decided to insert himself into the relationship of my son and this young lady by becoming friends with the girl. Became friends with her and started talking bad about my son, things that he made up. Then he would send him messages about foot rubs and lie about his response. Because Logan was very, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say his name, but my son was very standoffish about this. Like, he didn't say, oh, this dude is, he just, oh no, man, I'm not interested in that. But this person decided to share it differently and convince her and try to convince her that he was not who he said he was, my son. That caused a lot of conflict in their relationship, right? And so my son felt cornered. He didn't even tell me about it when it was going on. And then my son made some crazy decisions. Not crazy decisions, but here's my point. Once I found out about it, it was the next year. I talked to the school about it because that same student did it again. My son, was having a relationship with another young lady, and he did the exact same thing. Inserted himself, talked bad about him, and then told the whole school that my son was gay. My son's not gay. That's not the point, but why would you slander someone? Why would you use a term that he has not outed, or he hasn't even had the opportunity to deny or admit anything? Just 20,000 people per day were asking him if he was gay. And he said that got to him. He was like, I'm not, Mom, I swear. I'm like, look, you don't have to convince me. But all of those students are asking you all day, every day. So I talked to the school about it. And the school said that there was no harm in those questions, but to report it every single time. And that's not likely. And then it escalated. And then it got worse. And then things got worse for my son to the point where he was isolated. And the school did nothing. On top of that, there was a student that my son didn't get along with, and his father just happened to be the assistant basketball coach, the student's father. And there was preferential treatment, when it came to who could play. I tried to have conversation. That didn't work. The mother took issue with my son because my son did something to her son's, I'm sorry with all these words. My son did something to her son's best friend. Okay. Something, that he apologized for like months ago. And the mother took issue with my son, and it wasn't even her son that the incident took place with. But because it's her son's best friend, she decides to target my son. I get a phone call. My son's very distraught. I had to leave work and go get my son from a basketball game. I went dressed in gym shoes. I don't wear earrings anyway since COVID. I had already made it up in my mind that I was going to be physically violent with this woman. And on the way there, I had the voice of reason on the phone that said, you got too much to lose. I was that angry because when a grown-up inserts themselves into a child situation and threatens and calls them names, she did the most. I'm not even exaggerating. And on top of that, she had already told me, if you ask for a parent meeting, I'm not coming. So this woman was evil. And her son was taking after her because what she would do, she would tell her son to fight my son. Oh, I know you getting hot, right? Like, ooh, if that were me. Yeah, let me tell you, it was me. So I'm going to the school constantly about this. Nothing. The worst they did was they suspended her from going to her son's basketball games. I threatened to take my son off the basketball team, and the coach, the assistant coach, her husband, said, don't do that. He's actually pretty good. Then he tried to throw shade and say, well, if you came to some of the games, but some of the games, let me tell you, the games were always during my work hours. I can't make it, but his father can, and we'll work it out that way. But I had come to a couple of games. I just didn't come to all of them, and that was shade. And I took it, and I owned up to it, and I said, look, I have to work. I'm a single parent, and I paid his tuition. With that being said, that gave me the code of culture at the school. The parents that have been together since kindergarten stuck together. The students that have been together since kindergarten stuck together. And then here comes my son. He's ousted. Not automatically, just that's the culture. And then I'm ousted. You know me. For those of you that know me, hey, everybody, hi. That's me. That's just how I am. I don't care what I think you think. I'm just like, hey. But the looks of the mothers, the husbands were fine. They're like, hey, what's going on? I don't care how phony they are. But respect is respect. The mother, so, okay, some of them. I get this. I've been here before. No problem. I'm still going to be cheerful. It's going to piss you off even more. Needless to say, that incident escalated to the point where I removed my son from the school. Yeah, I wanted to be physical and violent and all of that, but I wouldn't be here today to talk to you. I'd have a record. I like saying no criminal record. I love it. But what do you do when your kid is being bullied to the point where you walk him or her home from school and the bullies attack you? It's easy for me to say, not me. But see, I'm concealed carry, but do I shoot a kid? What do you do? Like, what was she to do? You know what she did? Her son grabbed hold of her so tight because I think he almost felt helpless. He wanted to protect her, but then he was scared. And then she was probably not expecting what she got. And they beat her like what we see on social media. I've never seen a girl fight like that. Until I saw social media. I remember when I was in school, I went to Beasley Academic Center. We didn't really fight. We were like about the grades and the curriculum. There was some fights, but not like that. These people they want all of you. They want blood. I've never seen. What rage is that? And then, the first thing people said was, well, they must not be getting love at home and they're housed, but they're not being parented. And her mother and auntie, I guess, got on the video where she was apologizing and crying, telling us who this young lady was. One of the young ladies that attacked the adult that was walking her child home. Where they do that at? Like, I still don't feel right cussing in front of older people. But these kids, they will cuss in front of you. They will hit you. They will beat you. And they think it's cool. Like, yeah, man, she'll don't mess with her. Where did that mentality come from? Where did it become cool to disrespect your elders? I did my DNA and my background or my bloodstream says I'm from Nigeria. And if you look at Nigerian culture, the elders are anyone that is 5 minutes older than you is your elder. This woman was a grown woman who birthed at least that child that she was trying to protect, and they beat her down. They will forever be remembered as the children, the girls that beat her down. Whoever was holding the camera sounded like a boy, talking about her ankles and how ashy they were. I could never bring myself to talk about an adult and I'm a child. I couldn't bring myself to talk about an adult and I'm an adult. Like, I'm going to find a woman who is walking her child home and the only thing I can focus on are her ankles and her hair. And I mean, who does? But you know something, what I found? I went to my hairdresser today. She told me when she got to work, her whole station was moved across to the other side. No one contacted her. No one said anything to her. She's had a tough week this week. She lost her grandmother. And they seem to find fault in her. And she barely talks to them as far as I can see, because she's a praying Christian woman. Young, beautiful. Got her business together. Her daughter's so gorgeous. And I've never heard her cuss. She talks to her customers. We have fun when we're talking. And they've decided to just not like her. This is one side of the story. She said that one of the girls said, "We don't like you." And that means that conversation is going around. Where are these mean girls coming from? Like, that starts early. And it's something that they've seen and witnessed. These were all girls. Like, yesterday on the radio, we were talking about this. And the day before that, we were talking about this. And we were trying to get all these mentorship programs. But these are men mentorship programs. Like, we need some girl mentorship program. Like, where does this begin? What's being taught to our young girls? I mean, it looks like the boys are picking up the pistols. We know that adults are putting them in their hands. But girls are totally disrespecting. Girls are sending pictures of their naked bodies to boys. Girls are masturbating on video. Girls are exploiting themselves at any age under 18. Girls are doing that. And you might think, and the girls that were the girl that was apologizing for beating up this woman or playing a part in it, supposedly she's an A and B student, captain of the cheerleading squad and something else. And I'm like, she was caught in the gang moment? Because that's like mob action. Yeah. I feel sorry for her decision. I really do. And I heard the adult that was in the video with her saying, "This is not all on you." The fact that she said that, "This is not all on you," says that we're not taking accountability of what has happened. Because I don't care if it was 20 other people, you were there and you participated. It's all on you right now. This is not all on you. Oh, okay. Whew. So, yeah, I don't know what can we do? What would you do if that were your daughter? What would you do if those were your children jumping an adult? What would you do if you were the adult that they jumped? Because I've seen F them kids. There are demons inside of children's bodies. I've heard I've heard the current administration leader say that blacks are natural born killers. I've neutralized that statement by saying it is not true. Where was ICE? Where was the National Guard when this happened? They weren't there. So that's a bunch of baloney. And that's not their responsibility if they were there, but they're all up in everybody else's business. But my point is, this is all smoke and mirrors, and we're falling for it. If you don't have a conversation with your kids about not being a bully, not being a rapist, not being a killer, then they just might be a bully, killer, or rapist. Yeah, that part. Don't think, well, not my kid. It's not the adults you got to worry about keeping your children safe from, it's other kids. Because children are sponges. They learn everything all at once because they don't have to worry about paying a bill. They don't have to worry about getting to school, getting to work. They don't have to worry about anything except being a kid. So they got room to absorb whatever is presented in front of them. And this is what you end up with. And you're shocked when you go, what? So if you're the mother or father of a child that is hurting right now, stop telling them don't cry. Stop telling them to dust themselves off and quit all that acting. I remember my father used to say, quit acting when I was crying. I remember the colloquialisms and the sayings that our parents and elders used to say to us. And some of that stuff we might need to unlearn because, yeah, it ain't working. Or some of the things we need to re-implement. Now, I know I spoke passionately about my children under my roof. There's discipline here. Is it different than it was when my older boys? Yes, absolutely. I've had to evolve as well, but I don't think, in fact, I know I wouldn't take it lightly if I got a phone call from the school saying my child was bullying or fighting or terrorizing. Those are some triggers right there. I don't think I know I wouldn't just say, oh well. You know, Loretta Smith just did this play called Consequences. It was about a young boy named MJ who was bullied at school. He has to make a decision because the bullying continues for 6 months. Why did he feel like he had to make the decision? He had a mother and father. There was a principal and a school board. Why did he have to make the decision? I don't want to tell you what happens in the play because we're going to do it again. Okay? It's the play that these kids probably need to see, but yeah, I think we're focused on the wrong thing, people. We're too busy doing TikTok dances and we don't even know how to check the Power School or the parent portal. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're doing as a community. This is why I think even on WVON, I'm going to talk to Atiba today if he's not listening. I'm going to talk to him and see if we can have one of the principals that I spoke to on the show. I speak to her about something. I speak to a lot of different principals about principles. And I think it starts with sometimes when as a parent, if you feel like for instance, I'm good at papers that come home with grades on them. And I'm a tech guru, but Power School, I'm lost. Even though it's always a delayed, late entry, and then my son's got an A, and then all of a sudden he's got a D. It's hard to keep up with that. It's information overload. If that's information overload, how's the behavior overload? Like, we need to start parenting segments. It doesn't mean you don't know how to be a parent. It just means here's some tools. Here's how to use the tools that have been thrown in your lap. Because we have all bought, I remember my sons, they had a flip phone back in the day. Now kids got smartphones. They can go to the internet. And because we don't have like the internet nanny on their phone, we don't know what they're watching, what they're sending. I looked at my son's phone. He was sharing his location, which is sharing my location. He was sharing it with several other friends. I'm like, I don't know them. Have you gone in your kid's phone to see who they're sharing their location with? They shouldn't be sharing their location with anyone except you and dad. Mom and dad. That's it. Maybe the brother and a trusted grandmother. I'm here to tell you, don't allow your kids to share their location with all their friends. Because while they're sharing their location with the friends, somebody is in their phone seeing that you ain't home. I'm here to tell you, Check their text messages. Check the deleted text messages. Check their pictures. Check their Instagram, social media, Snapchat, every Facebook if they still have it. Check everything. Sent, received. Use search words like DICK, yes, PU, you know what. Look for sex, look for meet, look for buzzwords, words that are inappropriate for your child that is under 18 to be taking part in. Search. If they mention a friend's name, search for that friend's name. Because, see, these kids don't use phone numbers. They use Instagram for messaging. Check that. Check all of it. Check their activity, people. Check their Cash App. Who are they sending money to and for what? Who's sending money to them and for what? Venmo, whatever. All of it. If they got a device, that device is for you, not for them. Check it all. Check their screen time. Oh, that's a lot. I got a headache thinking about checking all of that. But I have to. I have to check it. And if you find inappropriate pictures of either your child or someone who sent it to them, I'm here to tell you that that's against the law. Doesn't matter if they're under 18 and so is your child. I have a business card right here for a detective. I'm not going to show the information, but I went to a parent meeting at the school. And if your child is taking part in that activity, it's against the law. And anybody can say anything took place. You know what else is against the law? Children having sex. If a child has sex with another child and that child's mother decides to cry rape, that's what it is. Boy or girl. Talk to your children. Talk to them. Because the last thing you want to do is talk to them through some glass and a telephone. It's too late. It's not about all the times they said no to drugs or no to sex or no to whatever, to a gun. It's about that one time they say yes. Because then they know what it's like. You can't undo that. You need to talk to these little adults like adults. There's nothing that we should be hiding from our children. Stop lying to them about how good you are. Stop telling them you would never or you never did something that you did. Talk to them about the consequences. Talk to them about what future them looks like. Son, what does future you look like? Talk to them. Have the conversation. And stop yelling. These kids are what is the word I'm looking for? Y'all know I'm going through it. They're oversensitized. Is that the word? It doesn't sound right, but you know what I mean. There's a lot of sensitivity going on with this online internet stuff. Everything is moving fast. They scroll like this. You can't keep up. Right? Then here you come yelling. Ooh. It sounds like razor blades going through their ears. Don't yell. Be firm, but you don't have to yell. Be firm. Like, look, put that eyebrow up. See, my eyebrow's up. Listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. First of all, that's my phone in your hand. Okay? I pay for it. I'm paying on it. I'm paying the bill. Second of all, when you go in the refrigerator and there's peanut butter or jelly and bread and eggs and food and snacks and drinks, that's because I went to work and I put it there. So you and I are going to have a discussion about an imbalance of power. There's an imbalance of power in this house. I can't make you do anything. but I can certainly give you some suggestions so that our relationship is intact. Seriously, that's being honest. Because, see, my mother used to say, I brought you in this world, I'll take you out. And all I thought about was my mother would kill me. I don't think these kids would believe that. You can try it. But I'm here to tell you, you need to talk. Dinner time, we barely sit at the table. Because by the time I get home, I'm so tired. My show ends at 6 p.m. Traffic is about an hour and 15 minutes. By the time I get home, because I don't leave right away, we got to talk about the show and the show tomorrow. So by the time I leave, it's closer to 7 o'clock, which means that puts me home at about 8. I'm not cooking at 8 o'clock, nor am I eating. But there's food in the refrigerator, so my kids ate. That's a missed opportunity. That's a missed opportunity. So either I make dinner before I leave for work, like I have to be there at, I'll say 2:30. I have to make dinner before I leave for work so that dinner's already ready, so that when I leave work, maybe I leave sooner. Because I hate driving in traffic, man. Woo, that drives me crazy. But I let it die down. Maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe we just have late dinner. Because if it's already cooked, all I got to do is sit at the table. But the conversation you have at dinner, how was your day? How was your day? It was Gucci. Speak English, boy. How was your day, Mom? You know what? It was pretty good, but I wish I would have handled the situation differently. They're listening. Oh, how would Mom have handled that situation? But if you sitting there scrolling, if you come home and you scrolling, so are they. Everybody's scrolling, looking at other people's lives. The antisocial generation. This is why we don't give a fuck about each other. This is why. Because even though we weren't born into the scrolling generation, we adapted to it. We've been conditioned into it. How much money did you make scrolling? And it's not always about money. How much did you strengthen your relationship? Scrolling. We got to do better. We talk about the problems. Those kids, they're part of the problem. And I think I heard where they did a GoFundMe to move the mother out of the neighborhood. Golly gee, that's great. But what about all the other, not like that wasn't great, but there's other people being bullied by other kids. What do we do? How do we handle it? Somebody help me. How do we handle it? We have to handle it. If you notice, and then I'm going to close, the government has taken away our rights to control our children. You didn't notice that, did you? You see, my mother used to come up to the school and beat my ass. Government said, well, the Board of Education said, you can't do that. Teachers used to take a ruler. I think I have one. I got several. Miss Smith, first grade, Beasley Academic Center. She used to take a ruler, a wooden one. This is plastic. And if I was caught talking, she said, come here, LaDonna. Oh, boy. And I got A's and B's. And she would whoosh. I think it was how many times she had to talk to me about it. Or I didn't want that. So I didn't talk. Well, I talked enough to get it the first time, or a few other times. I talked a lot. So let me not lie. But there was a repercussion. Now you go in the classroom, you can't hear. Man, what's up? The teacher's just trying to talk over it. That's disrespect. That's your kid disrespecting. And that's your kid that's not getting what they should be getting because there's other kids talking. And most children have ADHD, ADD. I think they ruled out ADD. I'm not sure. because of the food we eat and the food that they give us. I can go on and on, but I can't go on and on because the government took away our ability to control our children, because we can go to jail for disciplining our children. We can go to jail for hitting our children. We can go to jail for putting them in time out too long. We can go to so we just give up. I'm not doing anything. I told him to stop. I can't control him. He don't listen. She's just out there. If she gets pregnant, we waiting on something to happen so we can say, I told you so. No, because every time something happens to our children, that is $1 that is sent to their pockets. They get paid off of the pain that we suffer through. Everything, every pain. Look at the lawyers in the criminal justice system. They are just waiting. I can help. Cha-ching. You're going to pay for your freedom. You're going to find a way. You're going to mortgage grandmama's house. You're going to do everything you can to have somebody that should have been told before they got arrested not to do something. And now you're going to give it all so that they can be free. I'm here to tell you that when you're locked up, the one thing that's on your mind and plays over and over and over again is the day you committed the crime and how you wish you would have done something different. It's too late. That moment plays over and over and over. I've never been arrested. Never. But I have been in trouble. That time my mother disciplined me beyond discipline. All I thought about was how I should have done things differently. And it was like being locked up. I love my mother, but she was a strict one. And her mother was stricter than her. And my mother grew up in the projects. She made sure we didn't. I thought we were rich. We lived in the suburbs when it was the suburbs. The kids I see now, I had somebody try to punk me. I know, I'm a girl. This was a boy, and he had gotten into it with my son. I got out of the car because I'm that mother. Like, I said, hey, what's up? Y'all, do we need to talk? And he was like, you good? It's like, this is a different breed. And you know what I said? I said, yeah, we good. Because I had to think about it. He might have a gun. You feel helpless when you can't protect your children. Like, why should I be having to protect my children from children? Wow. So you better find a way to get inside your children's heads. Grandchildren, nephews, nieces, get into their heads, because the government is already doing it. The music, yes, I know. We had F the police, I know. But we didn't really F the police. We was just like, yeah. But I truly believe that's where it started. When we said F the police, they said, well, F you too. That's why you got Sonia Massey's. Sonia Massey got shot in the face for saying, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. So if we have no police system, what do we have, people? What you waiting on? Us to have nothing? I'm wrestling, sorry. Found some crackers and peanut butter. If we have no protection, what do we have? We have our voice. Yeah. We have our voice. We have our influence. Our influence can go into our children. If you are a mean girl, if you were a mean girl in high school, it's not cool. You're not the shit. You caused a lot of harm in people's lives, a lot of pain. If you were a terror of a boy, you're not good, you're not cool either. You caused a lot of pain in those people's lives. And they grew up with that pain. And they passed it on because of you. Oh, and if you were a mean girl or a terror as a kid, chances are you're still a mean girl. Nobody wants to be around a mean girl. Nobody wants to be around someone who doesn't speak, doesn't show respect to anyone. Oh, and don't be calling on God. Don't put him in the mess. Yeah, God said. And then you a mean girl, a mean woman, a terror of a man. You thrive on people's pain because you haven't addressed your own pain. Oh, and by the way, if you have a kid, they learn how to be a mean girl or a terror of a young man. And you think it's cool that your kid is like you. It's not. What can you even offer society? Nothing. Just pain. And guess who gets paid off of pain? Everybody else. The lawyers, the mental institutions, the doctors, the jail, the prison system. Hell, even the grocery stores. I mean, when someone's in pain, what do? They lose their job, daycare. They can't be the best parent they can be. They can't be the best partner, spouse. Pain. So when you're not the best at what you do, other people get paid. They cash a check. Thanks to you, you're funding the oppressor. Good job. And that's why you have little terrors in children's bodies, because of you. This is everything, well, not everything that I wanted to say on our show yesterday and the day before. We only get so much time. Those of you that tune into WVON 1690, we have commercials at the 17, the 47, the top of the hour, and the bottom of the hour. That gives us like 9 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on the number of commercials, to get it all out. And it's never enough time, but we touch on it long enough to leave something on your mind. We need to restore fatherhood. We need to restore the importance of having fathers in our children's lives. Yeah, I know. That Negro ain't shit. I know. Can't wait to say that. But who are you to say that? You see, I know I'm going in a few directions here. And you could comment. Has anybody commented? I didn't even look. I'm sorry. The man in the house rule. Slavery. Slavery divided families. We were outraged. Oh my gosh, how can you sell a child, a father, a mother, split up the family? It's horrible. The man in the house rule. See, families started getting back like we tight. Families were thriving. But then the man in the house rule came up. The government said, look, I'll buy you food. Pay your rent, give you money, a little cash. Get rid of that man in your life, in your house. So if he can't be in the house, that means he can't be on the address. He can't even be on the birth certificate. What'd y'all do? What'd your mama do? Father unknown. She like, I know who the daddy is. I just couldn't put it down. Now, she might try to lie and say, well, I just told them I didn't know, so they wouldn't go after him for child support. Lie. Yep, look at your birth certificates. And if you put him out, if he doesn't have an address, how can he get a job? Where do you live? Where are we supposed to send your mail? Yep. How can he go to school? He doesn't have an address because you put him out so you can get the government subsidy. Yep, man in the house rule. Oh, and then when the women started getting all that money for food and sometimes trafficking the food stamps, selling it for cash, they would take that money and get their hair done or name brand clothes and items. They traded their values for valuables. Per the government. Government bought all that stuff. And just so you know, when you buy all that stuff, it goes right back to them because they own the companies. Like, I've been in Versace. I know black people working there. Louis Vuitton, all foreigners and whites. Not one black person was working in the stores that I've gone to. Coach, very few of us. But we're the consumers, though. Give us a stimmy. Stimulus check. We're going straight to Louis Vuitton. I don't even know the names anymore. I'm not interested. You know why? Because if you look at their social media, they are flossing. They are living life for real. And we're funding it. That's what was done with the government money. So the government said, I remember when I was trying to get public aid. I was a teenage mother. Well, no, I was over 18. 19 years old, I think. You know what they told me? I could not be enrolled in school. I was like, but if I go to school, then I won't need public aid. I'll have a degree. You have to show that you work 8 hours. They said, fuck school. So I didn't go till I was 20. Had to figure it out. I had 2 mouths to feed. I already had 2 kids at 18. They ate good too. I didn't. Because when we didn't get food stamps, when I couldn't afford food, I just fed my kids. We had no refrigerator, no stove. Now those 2 kids are college graduates. I'm so proud of them. So you've got all of this systematic failure set up for us to fail. You got the doctrine. It's doctrine. I get those 2 mixed up. Of exclusion. My boyfriend introduced me to that, and I use it. I've read it several times, and all it talks about is how African descendants can never succeed from the success of our labor. Now, I'm paraphrasing it because I'm remembering all the phrases that, in other words, black folks will never be looked at as equal. That was in Maryland. It's the doctrine exclusion doctrine in Maryland, something like that. Look it up. It was in the 1600s. They never repealed it either. They never ruled it out. They never said, "Oh, we made a mistake and this is outdated." I'm sorry for eating, but I got to eat before I leave. My point is, if the cards are stacked against us and we're listening to it, we're doing it, we're putting our men out, the women are getting all this Louis Vuitton and money from cashing in, then they start treating the men like, you ain't got nothing. Disrespect, talking down to them, talking down about them to the children that they laid with to have the children. The black man has been the epitome of failure, even in our eyes. And then we evolved to so many black women, well, black women being the most educated person in the entire country. It was said black women are more educated than anybody else. Now we feel so educated that we're better than our men. And that's how we treat them. We talk down to them. We yell at them. We hit them upside the head. We don't know how to communicate to our men. We don't look at them as leaders. We look at them as, you better be glad I'm giving you some attention. But you'll lay with them and have a kid by them and then cry single mother. And then you birth these demons in children's bodies, as it's been said. You know why? Because one person raising kids, that formula never works. I mean, it works out, but that's not what was meant to happen. I've been going on for an hour and 1 minute, and I'm so sorry, but it's like I haven't been on here in so long. I've reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube and just was like, thank God. And then I just kind of fell off and started, just focusing on radio. But I'm back, and I would love to see your comments. Oh, come on, y'all. Oh, and those women that are so educated and possibly look down on their men, they lost their jobs. 300,000 black women lost their jobs in the past 6 or 7 months since the new administration has taken over. Now what? Now what? You still looking down on your men now? I hope not. Let's change, people. All right? The only person you can change is yourself. And we really need to get on top of that. And I do mean today. If you're co-parenting with someone, call them up and say, hey, I want to do what's best for the kid. There are some comments. Let me take a look at them. All right. Hey, lady. There she is. There we go. Your son is being bullied. Okay. You let me know here, let me just show you. There we go. Your son is being bullied. You let me know if can reach out to my people. They ride Harleys and they are very big, ex-military, and they can explain without words or violence not to mess with your son. Hey, I get it. My mother, that happened with me. When we moved to the suburbs and they were throwing bottles and calling me the N-word, my mother's friends, I forgot the name of the motorcycle group, they rode on everybody's lawn and was like, y'all don't mess with this family. I know that works, actually. Thank you so much. Thank you. Author and playwright Denise Jones says, hey, lady. Hey, Miss Denise. All right. Honora Beauty says, amen. Yes. By the way, that's my hairdresser. She just hooked me up today. All right. I've been out in the weather, but she straightened me out. You should have seen me when I went in. It was completely different. Lorenzo said, oh, wow. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a lot. It's a lot. He also said the creation of the YN culture. Y'all know what that means. They succeed. Mom is the hero. When they fail, the father is the villain and responsible for that. Woo, let me explain that. YN, that means young Negroes. You know what it really means. Some mothers out here, they have this hero syndrome. They want to be the hero. They want the kids to like them more than anybody. What do you mean? I'm the one who sacrificed. I pushed you. Like, we feel like we need some type of, I don't know what it's called, some type of gold medal, push gift. I don't know. Recognition forever for giving birth. And because of that, we tend to treat our children like, how dare you long or love your father. So what we do is, not me, because I just won't do this. And but what we tend to do is talk bad about the father to the children. Yep. And don't you think the children listen to that and go, they're not going to say, oh, mama, you're the best. they're going to go, well, shoot, that's my other half. So I must be just as bad as he is. Yeah. Trust me, I remember, okay? Woo. I had to calm my parents down from talking about each other. I said, look, don't talk to me about her and don't talk to me about him, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be taking care of both of y'all. And I take care of my father. Go figure, right? My mom too, virtually. She lives so far away, I have to do things virtually. But this YN culture, somebody put it out there. They played telephone and somebody adopted it and was like, yeah, let's be young, and we shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that. The way they stand a certain way, like they crip walking, talking. They stand like old men. They sag their pants, which looks ignorant for real. It's completely ignorant. But it's a sign. It's like wearing an X on your back. So you know who they are. You don't have to guess. Gone are the days of the backpacks and polo shirts. But now you know who the YNs are. But they still need love. They need mentorship. They need men in their lives, not to molest them, not to mislead them, and not to recruit them to be gangbangers, but men in their lives that can say, listen, the route you're taking, we got to fix this. We got to do better, people. Okay? All of us have a responsibility, whether you're a neighbor, an aunt, an uncle, a grandfather, a great-grandmother that still has the privilege of having access to your children, your family. Please, guys, step in. Don't go in his room. You need to be all up in that room. We all up in the rooms, okay? Let me find something. I found a vape pen before. Vape, whatever it was. Looks like a toy. How would I have known it was in there if I didn't look for it? I want to find it. We had a conversation and it was shut down. I'm checking lung air now. Okay. But what you don't know will hurt your children. I want you to know that. Talk to your kids. And if you don't feel comfortable talking to your own damn kids, find somebody that will. Find somebody that will talk to them and you work together. Our soldiers are at risk, people. They're turning into the oppressor. Kids are killing people. They're harming people. They're breaking trust. They're not getting educated. They're getting likes. That's not going to cut it. And you know it. I'm LaDonna Raeh, WVON, 3 o'clock, tune in. I don't know what we're talking about today. I do know it's Relationship Thursday. So we'll be talking about something that's super hot. I don't know what the topic is. I'll find out in a few minutes. But be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's LaDonna Raeh Show on YouTube. And thank you so much for all these comments. I'm looking through them. Yes. Oh, thank you. My hair looks good. Thank you. And I want you to make sure that, you just keep in touch with each other, with me and your children, especially. I know what is her name? Dorothy Tillman. She's on WVON every Saturday morning, and she's always talking about Save the Children. And I think we kind of blow that off like, yeah, they're already saved. No, they're not. The children are the future. And based on how you train them, that's how the future will progress. If you teach them to be YNs and mean girls and other names that I just don't want to say, that's what our future is going to look like. And if you don't care, why should they? We're not the ones that hold the bag. We think we do. But that little money ain't nothing. It's kind of like 6, 7. I'm out, y'all. LaDonna Raeh. Peace. Oh, I forgot how I end this. Like that. I think that's it. Yeah.
The one and only sexy mama, LaDonna Raeh.